Welcome, heathens, to the Ear Pill Utopia podcast. I'm your host, Jason, along with my co-host, Jason, better known as DJ Wired from PremiumRadio.com. What's going on, Jason?
What up? How's everybody doing out there, man? Yes, it is us, Jason and Jason.
This is our introductory episode. We plan to get some more episodes in the can before we release this to the masses. But we wanted to start out, talk about what's going on in our current lives and how we got introduced into music. And then before that, we'll start having other things incorporated, some future things in the episodes, some segments, all that to come. The podcast can be based off of social shit, personal life, music. We thought about maybe this introductory episode to introduce how we got into music, like what gave us the love and the passion for it.
Well, wait till that episode comes up. That's going to be a part 4 episode.
So what was your initial introduction to music?
Oh, Lord. My dad has to be, because he played guitar, and at 2 years old, I know a lot of people I come across cannot remember things past a certain age, like 5. Well, I remember when I was 2, and I remember living in Colorado, which that was the time, when I was 2, and him playing the Beatles and hippie music, the 60s. I was born in 72, so he played a lot of that kind of stuff. The Who, Led Zeppelin, Blodwyn Pig, Bob Dylan, Rolling Stones, Cream, Traffic. Those were all my initial influences, and it kind of stayed that way. The 70s, you see, now my dad was married to a woman and got divorced from this woman, and I ended up my dad ended up having sole custody of me. And so my mom was a disco queen. So my dad was very against disco, and therefore that kind of portrayed in me as well. Now that's changed over time, of course. But at the moment when I was younger, that was it. That was definitely a key thing, was that 60s kind of music was in my lifestyle up until the mid 80s. I would say about 84, 85-ish. And then I was introduced to Metallica. And I started listening to the other hair bands, to Poison, Def Leppard, and I liked that music, but never as much as I liked the Beatles, the Stones, Dylan, all of that good stuff. And then the next time was, I graduated in 1990, and I immediately moved up to Seattle, Washington, because I had already been visiting my mom since I was 2. Well, I think the first time I took a plane was when I was 6 to Washington State. So I had always had that musical influence from up there, because I have stepbrothers who had friends, and they all listened to Sub Pop when it became popular. And I was all into that whole scene like in 87. So like the quick change and everything, it just kind of happened for me in that era, like between 85 and 90. And then after that, that's I listen to everything. I don't like a lot of the Machine Gun Kelly rap. Is not my style. I'll listen to it. My kids listen to it. I'll listen to it. And I would even be like, what the fuck, on some of the things they listen to, but I'll listen to it, and I give everything, a good once around. I heard Billie Eilish, and I like her actually, but I heard her like 5-6 years ago. My son was friends with her from one of his YouTubers or one of these things that he did back then. And he showed me her, and she was awesome. But at that time, it was like another American Idol to me. You know, everybody, yeah, I've seen something else on YouTube where the girl sings and wow, she's really good. So it was where they took it, you know, Billie Eilish took it, or how famous, or where she promoted her shit, whatever. That's what the music business is all about now, the music industry. And that's I lost track of that crap a long time ago. The last person I interviewed, which was Michael Alago, and of course we'll put that on here sometime, but he signed Metallica. He's an ex A&R rep who signed Metallica, signed White Zombie, signed Cyndi Lauper, signed Nina Simone, not Nina Simone, Tracy Chapman. Sorry. Um, anyway, I asked him the question about what it takes in today's society, today's world, as a band to make it in the music industry, and he's like, numbers. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, they go by numbers on all your like outlets like iTunes and Spotify and all that jazz. And I'm like, what do you think about that? And he's like, that's bullshit. And I'm like, yep. See, I knew the answer to his, like, I knew my own version, which ended up being his answer. I knew that from a long time ago when they started this whole MySpace thing back when, and it was all about the numbers then, and it was like it would boggle my mind. And so, like, 10 years later, he tells me the same thing and same answer, and it's just like I knew this fucking music industry was shit.
Yeah, this could be a whole nother episode, but there's just no artist development anymore.
No.
They don't invest. You have to have instant success, and if not, they're going to drop you.
Well, I guarantee you, Post Malone did that whole Nirvana tribute thing. This is the quickest thing that's gone around the computer for this guy, and it's old grunge music. Nirvana. I mean, he recognizes what's good. He does that. Ozzy Osbourne. He's done shit with Ozzy. He knows, and that's what he is getting his popularity and shit from, is off of the shit I grew up with. You grew up with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, half the work's already done for you. The song
Exactly.
It's already a hit. So, I mean, you're already 2 steps ahead of the game.
So now, enough about me. You let me know, how did you first get into music, or what was your inspiration, or what inspired you?
I grew up in a household with a lot of music. Both my parents, they weren't musicians, but they had it playing a lot. My dad, he was really into oldies music, so he's always playing it on the radio. And we had a pretty sweet sound system down in the basement, so we'd have weekend nights where we just blast out some tunes. And my mom, she's a real big Elvis fan, had a lot of vinyl. So early on, just as a toddler, I was exposed to music, always around it. It was always being played, at home, in the car. And I slowly started being exposed to things outside of the pop realm, the more rock. My older sister and kids from the neighborhood, they'd be playing some heavy metal, shit from like the mid 80s, like, Appetite for Destruction, like Guns N' Roses, and just like you, a lot of the hair metal, that was a thing. And even the classic artists were, jumping on that bandwagon. You had Alice Cooper, he was doing some hair metal, and Kiss. And even Sabbath had some hair metal records. So slowly I started being introduced to that. And I'd start hearing this metal, but I didn't even know what it was at the time. Started hearing like Ozzy and Megadeth. And I was like, well, this is just different. This is more darker, heavier, whatever you want to call it. And I got Megadeth's Peace Cells album. And that's the one that kind of solidified me into the heavy metal realm. Kind of my introduction to the more fast, old school thrash metal sound. And before that, I started watching, like Headbangers Ball on Saturday nights, and started hearing heavier bands like Sepultura and Metallica. Before you know it, there's just a whole new introduction to heavy metal.
Didn't you at one point do a radio show or a radio thing too on
Yeah,
TMS with me, right?
yeah, I did that for a while. That I think that came much later. I don't have like near the background that you do, but
Ah, it's all about who you know, not what you know.
yeah. But I got into a lot of different styles too. Past the metal, I loved the grunge era, and I never quite understood the division between it. Like because I still like the hair bands, but after a while, like they kind of wanted you to pick a side. Like you either like this or you like that. And I thought both kicked ass. I loved Alice in Chains, but I still loved the cock rock too. So,
Right, right,
but
right.
I remember though, like it really became super uncool. Like around '92, if you liked both. You know, like
I
it's
think they
supposed to
still
be.
do it today.
Yeah, it's become a lot more like retro though. People kind of embrace it more now. But back then, it was kind of like a dirty word. The record labels were dropping it, and this is what you heard on the radio. This is what you saw on MTV. It's what the kids were wearing. The T-shirts. You weren't seeing anyone wearing like a Poison shirt in '93 so much. You know,
Right.
that's when grunge was at its pinnacle high of popularity.
That's so nuts, man. Because in Seattle we called them tree huggers. They would wear the flannels, the boots, all that stuff to keep. I mean, that was the normal day. That was a summer day. Was the flannel, That was like windbreaker shit. And I still dress that way today. I got the boots, I got the flannel, and the flannel that I bought 10 years ago when I was there.
So what years did you live in Seattle?
From 90 to 95. I moved back to Florida in 95.
So you lived there really when it was exploding.
Yeah, I lived there the whole, and then when it really was dying out, because in 95 it was dying out. There really wasn't anything there anymore.
Yeah,
And
they
and
had the boom. Yeah.
it happened. That's what it was. It was a boom. There was too much. It just went so fast, and like there was no. And what the sad thing is everything we hear on the radio coming out of Seattle is, Jimi Hendrix was from Seattle, Heart's from Seattle. There's different kinds of music, like the music that Soundgarden, Mudhoney, Grunt Truck, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains. It's all a bluesy punk rock. But then there was Hart, and then there was Jimi Hendrix. They all had their different styles, and still to this day, there's bands that are there that are still just as good as Soundgarden was in '87 or better, that are not getting mentioned, and it's because nobody wants to deal with grunge or Seattle anymore, really. And then there are those bands that have gone under the radar that are Seattle bands that you would never know.
Bands that got signed or still independent.
Still independent, but they're on their way. That there's a couple of them I know that are because I'm still connected to a lot of people from on the West Coast, especially in Seattle. And they throw around bands and stuff that they think are good and that are good. You know, I can't. There's a lot of stuff. Even us, Florida. There's bands here that just I don't even play because, and it's not that I don't want to. It just there's just so many good ones that are here, and then a lot of them don't have their shit together as far as I need something to play. Can you send me an MP3 file? They'll go, okay, and they send you just an MP3 file. I need more than that. I need a picture and I need a producer. I need a date. I need a track number. I need an album, something. And they don't
Promotional.
have it.
You need some kind of promotional materials. Yeah.
Exactly. And they don't have it. So therefore, again, good bands, but goes nowhere because somebody's not is dropping a ball. Most likely it's a promotional thing. And then again, today, like Lydia Can't Breathe, out of where I live in Brevard County, all the bands that are here, Lydia Can't Breathe is the biggest. They've been on tour with OTEP. They've been on tour with Dope, Head PE. Um, God, I don't even fucking remember all of them. And the thing that gets they first of all, these bands like the local bands, they buy onto these national tours. They have to pay money to get. Now the rest of it is merchandise. They have to make money off of their money, their food, their everything, their gas. Everything either comes off of tips that people are nice enough to give them, or merchandise. Or if I've done 10 years ago when I did I tour managed for a band that came from Portugal, first time in the U.S. I gave them a place to stay when they were in Palm Bay, and when we went around the whole entire state, of course that was on them. But it's hard. It's no different than it was for the Beatles in 1961 than it is today in 2020 as far as that goes for the bands. And I feel a lot for the bands. And I'm so glad and happy that I never chose the route to go down as becoming part of a band member. And now it's all guns for hire too. The music industry has changed so much. It's almost disgusting.
Yeah, I knew you had to buy onto the tours, but once you're on the tour, do you get paid a per diem per show?
Nope,
So the bands don't even get paid for the shows.
not the local bands. Not the
What
local
about
band.
what about if they're touring with them like on multiple dates?
Yeah, no, because it's usually just one. With the national band, it would be they have. Okay, they national bands they want the money, so these national bands go on tour. They're gonna grab a local band who pays to be on tour with them, and then when they get to the town, they to draw attention to themselves as well and make it a good show. They think, or they're gonna grab a local band from that town. So there you go. There's three bands right there. They might have a fourth band come with them, some one of their buddies that are making money off of this whole deal too. But this whole thing it's a money making machine. There's nothing that, writing a song and singing it and performing it a million times in front of people is nothing to them now. You know what I'm saying? So all they're doing is trying to get that money. They don't even care. Look, for Christ's sake, look at Puddle of Mud. Now, I know the whole set wasn't as bad as the Nirvana About a Girl, but holy fuck balls, what was he thinking? Even the band members were looking at him and going, what the fuck are you doing? Have you seen that?
Oh, it was atrocious. Yeah,
Oh my,
his vocals, he sounded like a dead cat. Yeah.
worse. I would take a dead cat. I would help a dead cat. Him, I wanted to run.
Cat being tortured.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, dude. The horror, and I'm sure like I said, I seen the whole set, not and the other songs, and they were good. So I don't know what happened with that, but you saw how the rest of the band went on. They didn't care. They don't care. It was probably the last song, and they probably wanted to leave, and they were like, "Okay, well, fuck it, we ain't gonna do another take. Screw it." And that was
Wasn't
it.
that live though? It was live on Sirius XM or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
what I'm
guess the problem
saying.
with live. Live, you got no room for error.
Well, even live, sometimes you have a delay, and you can start things over or do things over. And there are finagling tricks that you can get some time. Can you get what you want, like as in this, recording it and being able to go back and edit it whenever the hell you want? No, you don't, but it's more of a strictly time basis. But you can finagle. Nutshell. I mean, Nutshell. Alice in Chains Unplugged. The first song was Nutshell. And anyway, I saw that live on MTV, and they can start live things over. I I saw it the first time live when it was first live. Like I stayed up until the time it came on, the back in the day on MTV, and I saw it. But the next time I saw it, they had already chopped it, and it was like the next like okay, they played it back to back, so it was like the next 3 hours. I don't remember how long it was the first time, but they played it back to back, and the next time they played it, they had cut out the beginning of um Sludge Factory. He screwed the whole entire verses up. Like he did the third verse second and the first verse third. You like the whole thing, and he was well into the song. And even like Jerry Cantrell looking at him like what? Because he has the words right in front of him. But I guess that's how fucked up he was, that we all didn't know when he did it on live or anything. But then when I saw it again, it wasn't there. And I don't think many people see shit. Like, I remember when the Pearl Jam album Versus was still out, and they went on Saturday Night Live, and they did Animals and Rearview Mirror, and they came out and they did it a third song, which was If Not For You, or Not For You, which is actually on the Vitology album, which was the next album to come out. But if you go back on Netflix, they won't have that shit no more. I don't understand that shit. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. I don't know how everything works. I just know how my shit works.
We should post a brief clip of that Puddle of Mud so people can hear what we're talking about. If you missed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We should actually post it, and then the next episode that we do post it again and like go through it and show you each and every little thing that you could find that's like a total train wreck in that fucking video. Horrible.
Yeah, I think that song was just out of that guy's range, trying to hit those high notes.
Well, I think he tried to honestly emulate Kurt too much. If you listen to About a Girl or anything that Kurt sang ever, he has a very harsh and whiny kind of tone in his voice. Like, it's not something that he tries to produce. It's something that came out naturally. And Wes Scatlin, I think he just tried to produce that himself, and it just was, like I said, a fucking total train wreck. And I don't really think he meant it, but he was trying to give tribute to Kurt in some odd kind of weird way of his. But I don't think he should have done that. I think he should have done, because he has done that song before by himself in concert, and he actually has never done a bad job on it. And he did that time. So again, that goes back to my theory of some of them just don't give a fuck. Some of these musicians are like, fuck it, we're getting paid anyway, so fucking last song, bye. Here's what you have.
Yeah, different world though now with video and the internet. If you fuck up, everybody sees it.
Exactly.
As before, there's no YouTube, so the only one that really saw it was just the audience. But now it's kind of a domino effect.
Oh yeah.
Blabbermouth picks it up, before you know it goes viral.
And it's so funny, the things that do go viral. Some of the things are like so stupid. I watch once and I'll never see it again because I'm not interested, and it's viral.
Oh, like Post Malone, for example. I'd never even heard of the guy till he had Ozzy do a song with him. It was about maybe a year ago. It was a Post Malone song, and Ozzy special guest on it. But I didn't even know who the fuck the guy was.
Yeah, now he's got a Dorito commercial.
Yeah, maybe I'm just out of the loop. But
Yeah, we're
Ozzy had a
getting
new record, and he
who?
had
Oh,
Ozzy had
Ozzy.
a new record, and I guess he has him on two songs.
Of
So
course. It's like Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. I'm gonna have you on my song for 2 songs, and then you're gonna have me on your album for 2 songs. We're
do
gonna
a
get rich.
collaboration. Yeah, I guess Sharon talked him into that one. So
Oh man, don't let me get into that. We're again DJ Varela from yeah. He was good friends with one of them, and no, one of the family members. And I've heard some stories, and that woman is crazy.
oh, I'd love to hear those.
Oh God.
We'll have to do a Sharon Osbourne episode sometime.
Ah,
This,
I don't want to get in trouble though.
all right, this has a
I
lot
think
of
I know
potential.
too much.
We'll just change the names. The
Okay,
accused.
there you go. We can do that. We can do that. That'll
John
work.
Doe. Yeah, John
The
Doe.
Bozzy.
Well, there has to be a lot of stories.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there is.
real.
DJ went out with one of the daughters, so I heard stories.
Oh, I can only imagine. Well, I've heard a lot of stories just from bands. Had to had to deal with a lot of drama on the tours, a lot of politics.
Oh yeah.
Especially on like Ozfest, where you had to originally buy your way onto there.
Yep. Yeah, that's where the whole buying onto this shit started is back then.
Great promotional tool, but still sucks though if you're a struggling band.
Exactly. And they do that a lot. Like down here, there's Rockville. I'm sure they have that over there where you are too. Rockville. You ever heard of that?
We had our own version of it, like a rock fest. It's just a
Okay.
festival, right?
But you see, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's all a money making thing, which is it's great. And again, they take advantage of it down here too. They have these festivals, which they let these vendors in and stuff like that, which is awesome for these local businesses. Great for that. But the money and the free stuff that because I do a lot of volunteer work. And I love volunteering my time, especially toward anything that's going to go to like this last one I did. It did for um, uh, instruments for children. What it does is we donated the money to this charity that any child that can't get an instrument due to financial circumstances, they're gonna get an instrument of their choice, whatever they want, no matter what. But of course, you have to go through an application, whatever. But it went toward that, and but the money, the excess, and the free, the vendors that gave you stuff for free, like we had a Mexican restaurant give us all our lunches for how many volunteers that were there. There was well over 200. And, that's a lot of fucking food. And I'm surprised, or I wouldn't be surprised that they probably made that much money back. But, all the stuff that's actually going toward this charity as well. And then we have these festivals that are in this town happening at least every other month.
Really?
So yeah, oh yeah. They just invited me to one. It's called the Space Coast Quarantine Fest, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going. I mean, it's like fucking. What are you doing? I understand the local businesses, but uh, I don't know. It's like I'm like halfies on all of that stuff. Like, okay, if you want to risk yourself and you want to go to these things or be a part of these things or play for these people or sell your stuff there or whatever and be in contact, that's your choice. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not, anyone's boss or anyone's god or anything like that. That's fine, whatever. But At the same time, I don't think it's really that much of a good idea. I think that's just inviting trouble. You know, again, I'm not a gambling guy. That's a 50-50 chance right there. Those are no gambling odds to me.
Yeah.
I won't take them.
I will say it's pretty cool that they're supporting live music that much, though, because it's kind of faded a lot in my area. We used to have a really lucrative music scene, and it just kind of died off. I'm not sure why, but
We do have a pretty good. All of Florida is what it is. Brevard County, where I live, Melbourne, Palm Bay, we used to have a big scene. It kind of died off because what they did was they took the main music venue that was a big stage and everything away, and they built a hotel in place of it. And that kind of made everyone not want to, even the bands that weren't from this county, come and play here, because where are you going to play but on a 1 foot high stage where the people are right there? There's no back room. Where do I come in? I gotta come in over here. Who's my sound man? The best place is up in Orlando, and then the next best place is Jacksonville North, and then down south it would be like Miami, and then over West Coast Tampa. So you got that going, and Brevard used to be part of that, but we kind of slowly died because of that one venue they took away from us. Now again, they still go out. There are places that have opened. This was 2 years ago that they destroyed this building, but they've opened up other places, not quite as big, not quite as nice, but it'll have to do. And that's what's happening. Is it's just a struggling scene now.
yeah, we used to have several venues, and now it's kind of dwindled down to mostly two or three that host any events. But before, you had about 10 or 12 that were regular live venues. So less options, less audience, and I think not as many people are really coming out for shows. That's been a struggle too, you know.
Well, being kind of into it where I'm at for the last 10 years, it's again a promotional tool. A lot of these venues, and I think they caught on here, but now it's a little too late. But, when I first started promoting, I don't care, you can delete me and I cannot be a friend if I piss you off that much, but I would promote it 3 times a day, every day, whatever it was, a band, my show, whatever it was. And if that pissed you off, and then now I got like over 5,000 people on my friends list that, I see something from you. Yeah, I might not see it if you put it on my news feed, on my timeline. It might just go right by. I have to go to my activity log again. Busy guy, and don't really sit down and do that. I'm more of a PM me kind of guy. If I don't hear that ding, I really am oblivious to shit that's going on. So, but anyway, they don't promote it. Again, the venues or bands or promoters or managers, they will put a week or maybe 2 weeks before the show is actually happening. And that's for these local bands. Now, national bands, we don't have an issue with that. Sometimes it's 6 months in advance, sometimes it's 2 months in advance, and that's great. Then it gives time to get their money situated and pay the fucking $180 ticket that they're going to get for the ticket for the seat that's all the way at the top of this Coliseum.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome. But these managers don't think about that with the local bands or these promoters or the venues, because the venues, half the time they're bars. So if they can bring these people in, that's more money they're going to make off of liquor sales. So I don't know why anybody had issues with this, but again, they would be promoting a week or two before the show. Anybody who's working don't get paid weekly. They get paid bi-weekly. If you tell me I have somewhere to pay $10 to next weekend, I don't have that in my budget because I'm a budget guy. And I'm more than likely not going to have, because I know I'm going to go drinking. or not me, but half of the people that go out to these shows and stuff, they drink. I have to pay for a ticket. I have to drink. I'm probably going to buy a shirt, or I want to. But in a week or two, you can't plan for any of that. If I give you a month, even 2 months, even for a local band, who and it's not the point that they don't make a difference or they're good or they're bad or anything. It's that they're struggling. It takes a lot for a person to get up there and strum their music and their own lyrics and sing in front of one person, let alone 50 people. So I got to commend them on that. It doesn't matter if your shit sucks. If you have the balls to make a gig try to happen, then you're gonna get paid. That's how I was when I was a promoter and I did shows and stuff like that. I ended up paying out of my pocket half the time because I won't let anybody. And it's just like my job today. This girl got left alone, that my employee, and someone was supposed to come in. Well, things got mixed up and nobody came in for like 3 hours. Well, I stayed off the clock and I even helped her at the registers and stuff because it's not fair. You're gonna put yourself out there. You're gonna get treated well. At least when it comes down to me and working with me, I'm gonna try and do my best. I'm not the best, but I'm not the worst, and I definitely won't leave you hanging. But that's what these guys do, man. Best venues or best shows I've ever put together were at venues that would give me money up front, and that's a trust basis. Again, about all who you know, not what you know. It works out for everyone when the venues go ahead, but a lot of venues won't do that. They won't pay you in advance. So I think I got off of this venue $1,000 advance, and that paid for everything. Now all they wanted, the venue, was the liquor sales. They kept all of that. They did. I paid my band. I got the door money.
Yeah, they
And
came to a
everybody
good
had a good
agreement.
time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's all different, on what they anticipate for the door sales and the turnout.
Yeah.
But
And
I
well,
get it. I wouldn't with the guarantees. I could see unless you really had a familiarity with them, you probably wouldn't want to go that route.
right.
Usually they pay them like after the show. Is that usually how it works?
Oh yeah. That's exactly how it would work. And the only thing, I wouldn't even do anything with my door money. The only time I played with my money was after all the bands were played or were paid, and after the show. And then I went out and had a good time and bought drinks for everyone and hung out. But I mean, again, it was when I got a show together, the show would be 3 months in advance that I would be thinking about it. I would already have the venue. That would be the first thing. Now I got $1,000. Who am I going to get? Who's going to draw attention? Then it was promoted. And that left, I had 1 month. It would be 3 months out that I'd start. I'd do it in a month and then 2 months left to promote. And it'd be slow. Be like, hey, once a week I'd promote until it hit that 1 month mark. Then it would be every couple of days, and then when it hit close to crunch time, it was fucking every day, like I said before. And the turnouts were always good, always made door sales, always. Always, even if I had to pay out of money out of pocket because the bands were expecting a guarantee, like you said,
Sure.
that's how I ended up paying out of pocket. Nothing's written in stone when you make these local shows try to happen, and there's no contracts, there's no nothing. So whatever is said through Facebook, when you meet them in person and it's the night of the show, by the end of the show, everything changes. What you said, what they said, everything that's good. So it's just like, I'm the type of person, I don't like bullshit and I don't like drama. So is that what you said? Okay. I don't care if you said it or didn't, because I'm going to have the money or I'm not, or it's going to come out of my pocket or whatever. I think even one time I didn't have the guarantee that they wanted, but I ended up getting a cab ride home all the way to Miami. So it kind of paid off.
Sure. I mean,
I mean, again, I was broke and I didn't have shit to say, but that band was completely happy with me.
Well, I mean, I guess it's why it's good to have an agreement in place beforehand, because some of them, they're not very humble. They think they're bigger than they are.
Yeah, with
Uh,
local bands, good luck with getting anything signed. They're fucking so scared. It's unbelievable. At least down here they are. They like think that everyone's out to get them. That is, trying to make them sign something. And maybe rightfully so. I haven't had to deal with that side. Me personally, I would never. If I'm gonna try and do something for you, I'm gonna give it my all, or something of that looks like that. you know, I mean, I'm not gonna just try and make money. And what money am I gonna be making off of you for real? If you're a local band, what money? You have to already be established for me to make money off you.
yeah, and if that's the case, you could just book your own shows. You
Exactly. So
know.
I mean, I don't fucking get it. So I gave up on the promotional side of everything too. I just DJ and do this now, and that's as far as the music is, I keep in contact with people, I talk to people, but it's more of on a friendship level than on a music level. It is on a music level as far as I'm going to play you and you're my friend and blah, blah, blah. You get the special stuff, like that, the perks of being my friend and stuff like that. But, I keep it more on a personal level because they're people and I'm way more interested in like a musician's life than I am of how he did the music. I'm gonna find that out eventually how they did the music. I'm gonna go on YouTube one day and I'm gonna see the producer break down each and every individual track and tell me what that's out there. So I don't want to know those questions as an interviewee. I don't want to ask the musicians those kind of things. Not my ball of wax.
Yeah, you're not so much interested in the business side anymore. You're more from the fan support side of things.
Yeah. And a lot of these interview guys are. I laugh because it reminds me, and I'm sure you remember Chris Farley on
Oh yeah.
Saturday Night Live and Paul McCartney. And you remember when you were in the Beatles?
Remember that one time?
Remember that one time when you played at Shea Stadium?
You know that song?
That shit's out the door, man. I don't give a fuck about that.
But right now, everyone's kind of affected with this coronavirus bullshit. It's a global issue. It's not just affecting people locally. Um, how is it affecting you, Jason? Over
Well,
the
I
last
I had I
2 months?
had to go to CVS, and I had to go actually to CVS a few times and try and pick up some hypodermic needles. And then afterwards, I was heading over to the Dollar Tree when I finally got my hypodermic needles. I went over to Dollar Tree. I've been having some trouble trying to find some Clorox bleach, and listening to the president, trying to kick this virus shit, you know.
So, are you having trouble finding needles?
Oh
Is
no,
that
I got the
shortage of that?
needles. We got the needles, drugs and needles and paraphernalia, no problem. Clorox bleach problem, tissue paper problem, food problem. But I got my needles. No, I don't have my bleach yet though. So I'm trying to fulfill our president's speech there the other day of how this is gonna work, and we're gonna be like fucking immortal to the coronavirus, I guess.
I mean, you could disinfect shit, but it's still, if it's an airborne virus, I mean, there's just only so much you can do to stop the spread. You know,
I think honestly, I think this is not a joke. I think we should stay home, and by staying home, and I'm trying to be serious now. That was all a joke before. I was joking. I was pulling your leg. Um, excuse me. But I do think we should stay home, drink hot liquids, tea, coffee every day. Wear your face mask if you got to go out. Your essentials out there. I'm one of them myself, still 40 hours strong. Be safe out there. My store is actually very clean. I disinfect all the time. They say to me, and they used to get on my case at work because we have those sanitized wipes in a bottle, like those Lysol wipes, but they're more industrial strength. But they say 64 cents a sheet. Don't use it, Jason, on anything that's stainless steel. I said F you a long time ago, and I clean everything in my store with those sanitized wipes. So I don't have an issue going out, but I don't go anywhere but to the store, which I'm deathly afraid of Walmart.
I'm
No,
afraid before the coronavirus.
and I was afraid of that before the coronavirus, and now it's just even worse. The people in there are absolutely nuts. They're no, I don't. I think they're 100% nuts. All of them.
Well, I don't know about your area, but
Oh,
like
they're crazy.
they had
Florida is definitely a state where they're opening up the beaches again. Again, this is the second time since the coronavirus has hit that they have tried to keep the beaches open, and the first time they tried to keep it open, they shut it down, and now they have reopened them again. And I'm hearing as of last week that the second wave in China has hit. So I feel this is a premature thing, and I think by staying home, yes, it is. Is it hurting the local businesses and the economy? I'm not going to lie to you. Yes, it is. There is no good without bad. There is no light without dark. We have grown up, it is in movies, we've heard this a million times, and here we are in the thick of it, and yet there is complete chaos by at least 85% of the population here in America. That's my take on it.
Yeah, see, with my state, it was kind of a slow transition. At first, they just shuttered the restaurants and the bars, but everything else was still business as usual. And a few weeks went by, then they decided to have a state order to shut everything down but essential business. But by that time, uh, shit already hit the fan. It was almost like too little, too late, and the smaller ones already were feeling the effects of it before anyone else was.
Well, I think again that Florida is a really dumb state. We were the last ones to take this any kind of serious, and and to tell you the truth, I'm friends with the deputy mayor of Palm Bay, Brevard County, and I ranted to him just the other day about how stupid this forloaning on the mortgages is, and just how nonsense the government has treated us. They said stay home. If you're not an essential business, stay home. The government will help you. Well, I'm still waiting for that help, and I don't want anyone to tell me, well, we got a stimulus check and he plans on giving us monthly. No, that is our money, people. We work for our money, and it gets taxed, and that's what they're giving us. And not only is that what's happening, is if you do not make more than $1,200 in a year at your job, you will be paying all that 1,200 back. Now, a lot of you do. You have nothing to worry about. I have nothing to worry about. But there are a lot of people out there that don't. There's a lot of people that did not get any checks because they did not do taxes last year because they're homeless. Now, I don't agree on what every homeless person does because I work in a gas station, convenience store, and I do take or see a lot of stuff that goes on, and a lot of panhandling and a lot of same people coming and being told you can't do that. And they either it's mental issues, health issues, or they just don't want to, but they deserve to eat. And if they don't get any money, they're gonna die off. This whole coronavirus thing to me is like giving everyone a needle and heroin and saying as much heroin as you want and saying go to town. Let's see how many people go no and how many people go yay. Let's go have a party. And again, Florida seems to be like one of those states that are going yay, let's go have a party.
Yeah. So when are they reopening the beaches? Have they
They
already?
already have. They already have.
Really?
They
And
did
we're
it.
doing this right now. This is the end of April when we're doing the podcast episode.
Right.
I heard they were talking about it, but I didn't know they actually did it
No,
already
they did it a few days ago.
for the whole state.
As far as I know, just here, but it could be for the whole state. I'm pretty sure it would be. I mean, then again, our governor here in Brevard County is a total idiot too. So I don't know. It could be just in Brevard County, but I do know that, and it was just like earlier in the month, the beginning of the month of April, when the schools first did the onlining thing for the kids, and then the text came because I'm very hip on that. I got the BPS Focus downloaded on my phone, the app, and I stay in tune with what's going on with my children. And they were like, "Oh yeah, schools will be opening up back on May 4th." And the end of school was May 28th here in Florida, so it just made no sense. And I knew why. Why are you gonna, have the kids go back to school? This is not gonna be good for the kids. And then, of course, 2.5 weeks later, the text came again. Oh well, we're gonna shut down. Well, these guys in Florida, I don't think they really know what they're doing. The politicians, all the mayor, I don't think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give them a pass though, since it's unknown territory. I mean, since we never really had to deal with it, it's kind of hard to know what the hell to do. You know, it's not like every other year. It's like we have a pandemic. All right, just we're
No,
ready.
you're
You know,
totally right. Now, there's a couple of things. There is an episode or a show. I don't know if it's a documentary. I don't think it's a documentary. I think it's more like a movie, an Asian movie, Asian cultured movie. I can't remember what it's called, but it does. It talks about actually, and that is the first time I heard the word COVID-19 was in this movie, and they were talking about it was made 2 years ago. Now they knew about this. Now it's there's eight different. At least this is what I heard a couple weeks back. Now there's eight different strains of coronavirus out there now, so it has mutated, and that is definitely you don't know. But in my I don't know travels, I guess you could say in the past, the safer the better. And as a politician, I'd be like, yo, look, you may not like me and you may not like this, but the quicker, again, that this shit gets contained, the better and quicker we can get on with our lives. Now, if that requires us to be quarantined at home, but yet we're still able to go and take walks or stay 6 feet away from people. And the money situation now, this is where I have an issue myself, is the money issue and the mortgages and the foreloaning and all this nonsense. They should just stop bills, period. And whatever it is, like it's like a lease on a car. You always owe the principal and this and that and the other thing, but you could tag those months, those 3 months, those 4 months, however long, hopefully not long it takes, and tag that at the end of your, like say you were supposed to be done by April 31st of 20,040. Well, now because of this coronavirus thing, we're going to add 3 months to that time log. Now, that does that suck for the government and the businesses that are already fucking huge? Yeah, it does. Boo
yeah.
hoo. Stop being greedy. This is not the time for greed. This is not the time to show remorse. This is the time to show how we stand as a people together, United States. That's what we are. And
Yeah,
that is not what we are showing the rest of the world, number one. And that is not what we as the people are feeling from our government.
yeah, and small businesses are really the ones being affected by it. I mean, these corporations, this is just a minor setback for them. It's not going to hurt their overall bottom line, but yet they'll still want a handout when it's all said and done. But the small businesses, though, they take a hit for a couple of months and that's it. Don't have any wiggle room to recover.
And then
It
you
is
got
what it
the
is. I mean, fortunately, it's you just have to wait it out, I guess, and see what happens.
I think overall we'll all be okay. It's just a matter of how we get back on our feet afterwards. That's the most important right now to me anyway. Thinking about my future, thinking about my children's future, and how this world is going to end up treating them and me. Because I go to work and again, essential employee, and people yell at me, where's your mask? Well, I'm not. It's first of all, it's not mandatory. It's as long as you say 6 feet away, we're okay. And don't sneeze on me. And let me tell you what, I wouldn't let you do that on a normal day. I'm not a germaphobe, but I am a clean person, and I don't, I wash my hands. I'm a food lead, so this has all been part of my upbringing and part of my career choice. So is being the way we're supposed to be now with this coronavirus. So, I know what I'm doing, and I don't like telling people that, but I don't like being yelled at either. But I take it as it comes, and I know people are freaking out, and that's what it is. I deal with people every day, a lot of people. And why this? I got one old customer that comes in a regular wanting coffee, and he's an ex-retired police officer from New York, and the coronavirus says he feels the corona, he doesn't need to, what, he thinks that this is a conspiracy. This isn't a conspiracy. All the truckloads of bodies that are being forklifted out and into a semi at New York in the hospitals is just horrifying within itself. And it's not a conspiracy. All the conspiracy, where were you at 9/11 then? You weren't, it didn't happen that quick.
Yeah, I hear all the people arguing about, well, it's just another strain of flu. Yeah, yes, it is a flu, but it's spread easier is the main problem, how I understand it.
And it's more deadlier.
Yeah, it's you got that combination there, and if you're high risk, you're pretty much fucked.
And let
I'm
me
high
tell
risk,
you,
but I still have to work, so I just try to keep my distance.
and good for you, because I'm high risk too. And, it's no personal issue or something I need to hide from anybody, but I have a bad liver. And right now I'm trying to get actually the cure, which I'm like a week away from, but I'm getting all the hepatitis shots and the tetanus shot, and I'm getting a flu shot soon. So my immune system is highly low right now. It's in danger so bad. But I mean, and I'm out there doing what I have to do, making my money, and then I hear these people bitching and complaining, and it's shit. I don't know what to tell you guys. You should have done what you had to do as a person, as a human being from when you were a kid, because that's the only way to make it. If you didn't, if you made bad choices and you got stuck, and it's not just this coronavirus, it's anything in life, really. Everything, I think we discussed this earlier, is about timing. And if you can do the right thing, no, you're not immune and you're not immortal, but you have a better chance at anything in life, not just with what's going on today.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta prepare for shit. I
You
mean,
do. You have to
like
be ready.
I've been lucky enough that I've been able to still work full time during all this, but if heaven forbid I couldn't, I still got wiggle room to where it's not gonna be catastrophic where I don't have a place to stay.
Right. Right. It has. I've worked 40 hours too. It's not. I've actually they closed the shift down. They shut the 11 to 5 shift down, and so I'm having to work some crazy hours and 10-hour days, of course, because I'm a lead, and it's just crazy stuff. But it's got to be done, and that has always been my attitude from when I was young and I first started working. It's got to be done. It sucks, but it's got to be done, and not just with work, with everything. My dad told me some shit. I don't want to do it, but it's got to be done. And the quicker I get it done, that came from my parents. I could hear that right now. My mom saying that shit. The quicker you do it, the quicker it'll get done. Well, that's kind of stuck with me with everything.
So what happened to the people that were working on that shift? Did they lay them off, or did they transfer them to another shift?
They cut their hours, and then there was a couple of slackers. There was a 28-year-old in there that was living with mommy and daddy, didn't have any bills except for a car that he got 2 months ago that he just made his first payment with because he got a stimulus check that we ended up laying off. He was again, choices. You make these choices. And this is what happened. Of course, a big corporate, a corporation, any kind of business at all whatsoever, even if it was something that you owned on a personal level, why would you want somebody like that questions, hey, you need to check off what you do on this list of all the things that you do during your shift, okay? Why? No. Don't ask why. Do your job. This isn't your house. And this isn't, something that you can just delegate yourself and tell yourself what you're going to do. Pick and choose what you're going to do. Why is because they told me to, number one, to tell you. Number two, because it makes sure that what you do, we don't have to do it. And when it was done the last time, if it needs to be done today, this is why you check things. So that kind of attitude were the people that got laid off.
Yeah, it makes you
Now,
disposable.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't make yourself any kind of use, and that's, I feel bad, and I really do, but on a business level, I don't. And that's another thing I know how to do that a lot of people don't know how to do is separate the business and the fun times that you can have with someone, outside of work, whether go to a bar or having a relationship or whatever. They never could separate those two. They would always come, and not me. I separate. I have a happy face and I smile all the time. And it's kind of like a depression thing. But it's not depression. I don't get depressed or anything. But when I get off of work, I'll tell you what, I'm all like that motherfucker.
That's when you let it all out.
I do. I let it all out. You know what? There was this one day, I've been working here at this store for 2 years now, and I know this regular customer, and she came in, and she was nice as pie to me every time that she came in, and I was nice as pie to her. And she came in like about a month ago when this whole coronavirus started, and she totally played me. And where I'm not going to discuss what she actually did on here, but she played me like a fool. And when I found out that she had played me like a fool, it changed everything. It changed how I react to people now, and like I'll be nicey and have that smile on my face, but now I'm not going to do so much like I used to. It took everything back a notch, and it was kind of sad. it ruined my day. It really did. It made a definite dent. I made my whole family know how I felt, and I kind of got pissed off about it a little bit.
Sure, I mean, I think we all have to wear a mask when we're at work. You have to have your filter on, if you will.
Yeah. You
You
know
get,
what? You can go to YouTube, and there's a guy that does the aerosol sprays through the filters, and you can find out which, and the ones that a good portion of society is wearing in Brevard County anyway, or just you might as well not wear anything. I
oh,
mean,
I was just talking about having your filter at work to where you don't get your ass fired, that kind of mask. But I see what you mean. Well,
yeah,
yeah, in this world, it's a whole different kind of mask. They
oh
haven't
yeah,
mandated any masks though where I live. It's strictly voluntarily.
yeah. That's what it is, pretty much at my work, voluntary. And I don't, like I said, I don't really get within 6 feet of people anyhow all day. I mean, my job, I run around. I'm in charge of the coffee. I'm in charge of a lot of things that are food handle wise, which is pretty much half the store, which is fine. I don't mind it, but I'm running around. I don't have time to chit chat. I mean, the mornings, sometimes when it's slow, a customer will want to sit there and hold my ear for a minute or two, and I let them and, try to get that repertoire with them so they keep coming back, that kind of thing. Like you said, math. Um, but other than that, I'm running around, so I feel safe, and I feel safe for the other customers. Um, I try to keep the customers that come in. Oh, yeah, when the whole social distancing started, and we got stickers that we had to put on the floor for how far they have to stand. One guy came in with another guy, and then when they were online, they stood together. And I'm cooking the food, and I hear the lady at the register, you guys got to stand 6 feet apart. And he's all, why? Again, the why question. Well, after like the fourth time hearing him giving my employee crap, I walked around the corner, stopped what I was doing. I walked around the corner, and I said, because that is the CDC rules. Now, can you please stand 6 feet away? Well, I came in with this gentleman. What does that mean to me? The rule is that you need to stand. If you want to come into this store, our rule by CDC getting on us is you need to stand 6 feet away. You're in the store for approximately 5 minutes, and that's a long time. Okay. And you can't stand, excuse me, 6 feet away for like less than 2 minutes. And I just ended up walking into the back because I could feel myself starting to boil because they were just being punks at this point. And
Yeah,
they were
I don't
old.
think it's asking for much.
Yeah, and these people were older than me. So I got no tolerance for that kind of crap. I got zero tolerance for that. A rule is a rule. I follow rules every day that I hate. I don't like getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't, but I like paying my bills. I like eating good. I like keeping a roof over my head. So I do it. But a rule is a rule. You have to
Plus, you
follow
would
it.
know. You have no clue that they know each other. You don't know them.
Exactly.
They're just complete strangers. So all you see is just two people, standing close to each other.
Exactly. And again, you're here for 5 minutes, bro. Just chill out, do what you have to do, and get the hell out of here. And if you choose never to come back because that was a very uncomfortable experience for you standing 6 feet away, don't come back. Nobody's forcing. This is the freedom you have. And this is the last bit of freedom that America has. Is the freedom of choice is what to do on a personal level like that. And if you want to use it, I have no issues. No issues whatsoever. Don't yell at me and don't make my life miserable while you're here and I have to experience you for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I just
Not
think
my fault.
I've been trying to avoid the stores altogether.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
It's possible. So far, it's okay, and I don't want to get the shit. Because I have a lung disease, so if I get it, I'm more vulnerable to getting pneumonia, so try to lay low on that shit.
Yeah,
Do
like that.
you on curbside pickup if I can, you know? But anyhow, looks like it's good on your end financially. They're still keeping you working. Schedule just flipped around. Well, that about wraps it up. First episode, we're gonna end it out with the band who blessed us with using their track for the intro and the outro of the show.
And they're awesome for letting us do that. That's killer. You know, I'll probably end up playing it too on my show.
Band called Tail Sloth and Finland. Little track called Snake Breath. Check it
I
out.
smell something funny to you. Yeah, it's snake breath.
That
What kind of cologne you wearing today? Snake breath.
Speaking of stank breath, good thing we're on Skype. Damn, man.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem there, Jason.
Okay, we'll see you next week on Ear Pill Utopia podcast. This is Jason.
And this is Jason.
See ya.
Bye.
Dust, ashes to ashes.